All right, so hey guys, we're not going to have time to go over this test in class because there are 2 early release days in a row. So I can take questions during office hours, but then there also aren't going to be office hours on the early release days. So it might be a couple days until you can get into office hours to go over your questions on the test. So I am going to do this video just going over number 4. That was similar to all versions of the test. It was, arguably the hardest question on there. So I'm going to go over this one in this video. And then, like I said, if you have other questions, just stop by office hours later this week or next week. So for this one, we're going to let u equal the 3x. That's the inside parts of both of those functions. And so that derivative is just 3 dx, and we're going to adjust with a 1/3. And so the only thing I get to highlight here is the dx. And in its place, we're going to put 1/3 du. And so what's still there is secant of u, tangent of u. And then I need to adjust the boundaries. So I'm going to plug these in right here for x. They're just going to get multiplied by 3. So that's going to make this 3 pi over 4. And then the upper boundary will be 3 pi. All right, so antiderivative. We need to think of a function that if we did the derivative, we would get secant's tangent. And so that is going to be secant. So the derivative of secant is secant tangent. So when we're going backwards, this is the antiderivative. And then we're going to evaluate from 3 pi over 4 to 3 pi. I don't need to take this and plug it back in because I already adjusted the boundaries. We're just going to do upper boundary minus lower boundary. So it'll be 1/3 secant of 3 pi minus 1/3 secant of 3 pi over 4. And if you stopped there, you lost a point because I'm grading you on, like, part of what I'm testing you on is, can you evaluate this trig? So we need to get through this. Let me pull out my unit circle. We're going to find 3 pi. So if we rotate to here, that's 1 pi, and then the whole way around is 2 pi. And so if we keep going, this will be 3 pi. So it's actually the exact same location as 1 pi. We've just gone around the circle an extra time. So we're right here. Secant means we want to reciprocate the x value. It's the reciprocal of cosine. So we want to flip -1, which would just still be -1. If you reciprocate -1, you're just still going to get -1. So this is 1/3 times -1, and then minus, and then we're going to do 1/3, and then we have to do 3 pi over 4. Now 3 pi over 4 is going to be in the second quadrant. And both sides of the triangle are √2/2, except this one is negative. The x value is negative since we went to the left to get into the second quadrant. So again, for secant, we want to reciprocate the x value. If you flip √2/2, you're just going to get √2, and it is negative. So negative √2. So this would have been the final answer. And if you wanted to simplify that further, because I know some people did, just if you went a step further, this would be -1/3, and then these negatives would cancel, so it would be plus √2/3. So if you wanted to extra simplify it down, that is what you would get.